It's been a really tough week for Jed Hoyer, and it's not going to get any easier anytime soon.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. Thank you for being part of the show and making us your first listen today. And the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day. Like the video and comment anything below. Today's episode is presented by our great partner at Booking.com. Booking.yeah, the right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your baseball rivals. Book today on Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball, and get the Booking.com app today. Well, his manager called him out. His team got eliminated with 7 games left in the season. His rival won the division with 10 games left. And now the team that many fans wanted him to build clinched their division against his team. Cubs president of baseball operations, Jed Hoyer, is facing the pressure not only over the last week, but really over the last year plus. And with 1 year remaining on his deal, I think it's time to place him firmly on the hot seat, Sam. Maybe he's that by default, but I think he's staring at the reflection of a lot of things right now. Some good, some not. This current Phillies team, the way they were built is one of them. There's just a lot that we can discuss with the Cubs president.
Well, you said it. They get eliminated from the postseason. The Brewers clinch. The manager that he went out and did everything to hire, in my opinion, indirectly called him out in the media last week. And then the team that many of the fans wanted Jed to build. Why'd you non-tender Schwarber? Why didn't you re-sign Castellanos? Why didn't you go after Harper? We could have had Turner instead of Swanson. And those guys have won a division and are, been at the top of the league now for quite some time. Now, of course, you have to be fair to Jed, because I'm sure a lot of those same fans said, why didn't you re-sign Javi Baez? Why didn't you re-sign Chris Bryant? Right? So, they're not all losses for Jed, but it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter that they're not all losses. The Cubs are not playing in the playoffs, so they are all losses. Like, it's kind of like what happened, yesterday in the NFL. It's like, yeah, there were a couple nice throws, but the team lost. So it's not good enough. I'm so tired of signs and directions. I just want to win. And this Cubs team, it's beyond the process. At least yesterday, with that analogy, you have a rookie quarterback. This is the process. Right. The time, the patience side's over. It's time to win baseball games. Jed hasn't done enough of that. And by the way, we haven't discussed this yet. We're no Owen Casey, no Alcantara, no Triantos. We keep hearing about how great these farm system guys are. We got PCA. We got no Cade this year.
Injury, sure.
Yeah, it was injury. We just think we haven't, it's 2024. Now we're into 25. We know Matt Shaw's great. We're going to get a chance to see him next year, but we're not even getting a chance to see some of these guys that are the positive side of things.
Where are they going to play? There's no spot. There's literally no spots for them to play. Zero.
Well, it seems like Craig was pretty content having Swanson and Happ and those regulars put their feet up today. I'm pretty sure I saw Happ out of the corner of my eye brewing a little coffee in the 5th. You know what I mean? They're really relaxed. That lineup today, by the way.
No, it's going to be weird lineups the rest of the week.
Can I say one thing about this game, though, that I loved? Sometimes I get, I'm by myself quite a bit, as you know. A lot of that by choice. And towards the end of that game, I just said out loud, like I was talking to somebody like you, I said, there's no way Tauchman's going to let him clinch. It's going to be the next guy. And he went 1-2 to 4-2. I love that. I really hope they keep Mike Tauchman. We'll talk about that in the second segment.
Yeah, we're going to talk about him later in the show, as well as Patty Whiz, as I like to call him. Actually, I've never called him that.
Apologies, by the way.
2 strikes, and then Miles Mastro.
Apologies for those on YouTube watching me scratch a lot. This weekend in Florida, I got 64 mosquito bites.
So I think Craig Counsell did call out his boss, by the way.
Yep.
I think it was a purposeful call out. Hey, we need to get to 90 wins. And I've reflected on this, Sam, since it happened.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's the number, but that's not news to us. But I just want to remind everybody, 85 wins is not a goal, especially if you are trying to do anything above being in the contention conversation and selling tickets. That's 85 wins. You're part of the discussion on a daily basis or near daily basis, and people will attend. But beyond that, 85 wins does nothing. You know who taught me that? Theo Epstein.
Who?
You know who Jed's a disciple of? Theo Epstein. I can't really tell that, though, in his tenure. Have you been able to? Why is that? What happened to that? I don't get it. Time. I do think there's the budget piece that we've hinted at. You know, is Hoyer, basically is Ricketts running someone down the hall every November and giving Hoyer his number, right?
Yeah.
But there's just so much lately. It's like, I really do wonder what he's going to do with this last year, because his first 4 years have been, they've been a rebuild or a reload. And in the last 2 years, 23 and 24, you signaled that you were trying to win. Definitely for 24, you were. And it's, they're just coming way short.
I don't have much to add. I just think that this is a reckoning for Jed Hoyer. It is a crisis point in his career, not only as the Cubs front office, president of baseball ops, but at getting another job. Like this is it. And he's in a tough spot because, he feels like they have a really good farm system and he wants to be patient, but then he's contradicted himself by going to get guys like Paredes and going to get, giving contracts out like Bellinger and Nico and Happ and Seiya. Because like you said, some certain guys are blocked. So he's going to have to make some decisions. Like that's why we talk about Nico. We talk about Bush. We talk about Paredes. Like there's guys on here that you might be shocked if you see them get dealt, but they have to open. Not only do they have to get better, but they also have to open up spots. Right now, there is no spot for Matt Shaw.
Yeah. Right.
As currently constructed.
Correct.
So he's going to have to get real creative. And Jed does a nice job. Like that Michael Bush thing, that was a real creative way to go get production at first base. He knows how to do that. But he just hasn't been able to, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. We're going to talk about it all offseason. Margins and certain clutch moments and these things. But, man, you look at that Phillies lineup. Boog and JD had a thoughtful conversation about it today when Seiya was at the plate. Boog asked the question, could Seiya Suzuki be the best hitter on a team contending for a World Series? And JD said, well, in certain situations, the answer is no. The answer is no. He takes too many pitches. When he falls behind in the count with 2 strikes, nobody is. He's not a good hitter. When he's ahead in the count, he's dynamite. He's Teoscar Hernandez on the Dodgers. You put him on the Dodgers for Teoscar. The Dodgers are thrilled to have him because he's hitting behind 3 studs. Him and Happ, if they're 3rd and 4th best guys on your team, you're feeling great. If they're 2nd and 3rd, you're feeling okay for sure. But if they're 1st and 2nd, you're an 83, 84, 82, 85 win ball club. And that's part of it. You look at Schwarber's going to hit, might hit 40 home runs if he has a big end of the week. And, Bryce Harper and some of these guys aren't having banner years, but that's not what it's about. The Phillies have those guys. You just know they're going to be there in the end. Castellanos, I've never been a huge fan of the way he hits because he's such a free swinger, but when you need a base hit, he's going to come through. Mm-hmm. He just is. Trey Turner's a stud. Bryce Harper's a stud. Like Boog said, I think there's not any good bets to win the World Series because of the randomness and parity in this game, but they're as good of a bet as any.
Absolutely. No, I enjoy.
Pitching, good bullpen, star offensively. I mean, if you want the right team to win, they're at the top of your list. I mean, they swing out Wheeler and Suarez and Nola. They got a good back end. They got the guys we just mentioned. I mean, they're a heck of a baseball team, and congratulations to them for doing it the right way. They're not worried about, well, in 5 or 6 years, it's that Bryce Harper contract might not look great. It'll look great with a ring beside it.
Right. Well, they've been right there the last 2 years too. I hope star power prevails this postseason. By the way, I think it's going to be.
It would be good for the game. It
Yeah.
would be good for the game if it did, Matthew.
It would. So a couple more things here.
Yeah.
One is, I am looking forward to our episode next week on possible like game changers. Not only how can the Cubs get better, but how did they get the one person that you would consider a top bet?
Mm-hmm.
Because this isn't a bad team.
No,
but there's zero game changers. Zero.
No.
And I'd like to remember the luxury tax thing too. How did these dudes step on the 3-point line? Sam, did you know that Fangraphs is projecting that the Cubs went over the luxury tax this year by $900,000 and change? Are you kidding me? You're going to pay a penalty for $900K? Well, dude, that's almost fireable, is it not?
No, it is, and that means somebody in the mathematics.
$900,000, dude.
Somebody in the mathematics department, they have 80 different departments to run a franchise these days, made a crucial mistake and will probably be jobless.
Yeah, he or she won't work in this sport ever again.
$900K, that doesn't even get you smiley.
Well, that's just over the minimum salary.
That doesn't even get you wisdom.
Well, you'd be surprised.
All right, let's move on.
Cubs did lose 6-2 to the Phillies Monday night. Just want to go over a couple things here.
Can I tell you something about that game?
Yeah.
I got more excitement this afternoon when I was grocery shopping and I saw buy one, get one at half off Purell.
Purell cider.
A Purell hand sanitizer. I bought 2 for basically the price of 1.5. That brought me more joy and got my cortisol levels and excitement higher than this game did, where the highlight of this game for me, was a PCA walk after falling behind 1-2. Go ahead.
Be an awesome season. We should win this division.
So Nate Pearson started, but was purely an opener. He pitched 1 inning in this one. And Caleb Killian, who was called up earlier in the day, went 5 2/3, allowing 6 runs on 8 hits and 4 walks. And this guy supposedly got better this year in Des Moines. We've seen that story before.
I think cortisol levels are more stress related. I think I messed that up. Whatever.
Cubs had the bases loaded, by the way, with no outs in the 7th, but they did not post a big inning. Remember, a big inning's 3+. They did get two runs there. There was some roster moves, and both of these guys pitched. So Killian was called up, and Gavin Hollowell, who I didn't know was in the Cubs organization until today. Jorge Lopez was placed to the IL with another groin injury. And Trey Wingenter sent down to AAA, which is no longer in season, by the way. Their last game was on Sunday.
Not laughing, by the way, at Jorge Lopez's second groin injury. I'm laughing at you, the way you presented it. Just want to
Justin Steele versus TBD Tuesday. Javier Assad versus Christopher Sanchez Wednesday.
Yeah, he's good, Sanchez. Cubs got to him, though. I believe he was the guy that made the start on the 4th of July over at the Friendly Confines. Ryan Happ had 2 homers and 41 driven in.
Yeah, that was the Cubs' turnaround point, but it didn't matter because they went 22 and 39 from late April to early July.
I hope Jorge Lopez comes back next year.
Yeah, he's a free agent. Yeah, it'd be nice. Maybe they could even get something done this week while they still have an exclusive window.
Oh. Okay, let's move on.
All right. Coming up next, we talk about the margin players, Tauchman, Wisdom, Madrigal, and Mastro. Stay tuned. Today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your car alive. eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle, leveled up to peak performance from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one car. You always find exactly what you're looking for. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. With eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. All the parts you need at the prices you want. It's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your car alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Cubs play the Phillies at 5:40 p.m. Central Tuesday, and you can hear every pitch of the Cubs hometown broadcast on SiriusXM by searching Cubs on the SXM app. That's right. Only a few more days until you could hear Pat Hughes and Ron Coomer. So I'm trying to soak that in despite what's happening on the field. And this segment, we're going to talk about mainly Mike Tauchman and Patrick Wisdom, go over some numbers for them. But then Miles Mastro and Nick Madrigal as well. So Tauchman, since he turned to a part-time player, Sam, last 8 games, hitting 292. This is entering Monday. Hitting 292 with an on-base percentage of 470. Wisdom, remember that nice Royals series he had?
Yeah, I remember him hitting a grand slam.
Here's his slash line since then. 25 games. 122, 173, 347. 2 homers, 2 walks, 18 strikeouts. He's also hitting this year only 154 against lefty starters, which is supposedly his specialty. He's hitting only 181, period. I think this is a clear decision. I think they non-tender Wisdom. They say thank you for your service, but your tribe has spoken. And I think you give Tauchman a contract. I
would be really disappointed if they let go of Mike Tauchman. I've said this. I'm going to beat the table for it.
He's only going to be at like $1.5 million, $2 million.
He is a perfect fourth outfielder and clutch hitter late in games the way Council's used him. He's exactly the type of player the Cubs need more of. He's good in big situations. He's a competitor. He's a bulldog. He's a grinder. And I want him on this baseball team. Now, if he has to play every day and bat leadoff, then you're not doing something right with your baseball team. Right. But if he's your fourth outfielder, he spells PCA, he spells Happ, he spells Bellinger. I want him on this team. He has value. He gives a great at-bat off the bench and will be the difference in many one-run games down the stretch next year if used appropriately. I've made my opinion on the other guys, and that's all I want to say.
Yeah, because I think the days should be over, and I understand at least Council's using his bench a lot differently. You know, first of all, these guys just don't play a lot. But, 105 plate appearances for Mastro, 94 for Madrigal. I just think it's got to stop. And there's a chance of, again, all 4 of these guys go their separate ways. But I think the largest chance of sticking around for sure is Tauchman. I agree. He should stick around. And I just think time is up for the other 3. I really do. You can get better there. You can just get better.
Yeah. Yes.
It doesn't need to be Mastro hitting 196 and Madrigal hitting 222 and Wisdom not even good at what he's supposed to be good at. It doesn't need to be this way. The Cubs aren't the White Sox, the Marlins, the Rockies, you know what I mean?
The one I feel strongly, the one I feel most strongly about in that regard would be Wisdom. It's time.
Okay.
The other 2 depends what your need is. If you need a little infield defense, but that shouldn't be the case. You have a legit third baseman now. So, at least defensively, he could play the position unlike, Morel going into this year. So yeah, I don't disagree, but I think it'd be a mistake if they let Tauchman go. And I think it's a huge mistake that not a contending team didn't go up. Think about what just happened. In Philadelphia, closer on the mound.
Yeah, it's
in
weird.
West Philadelphia.
Born and raised.
You got Tauchman at the plate against the closer. They're trying to clinch a division title. He goes 1-2, 4-2, no problem. If that's to lead off the inning, that could win you a playoff game. That could win you a playoff series.
No, I love it.
Nobody values that anymore. They just go to the computer.
And he's excelled in this role. Excelled.
No, that's where he excels.
Yeah. And we're not talking about spreadsheets. All right, coming up, we got Trivia Tuesday. Stay tuned.
Oh, no.
Today's episode is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. With hotels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on Booking.com. You might just find your perfect stay, even in your baseball rival city during the postseason. Maybe it's time to taste test your baseball competition stadium cuisine. Luckily, on Booking.com, you can find the stadium that's just right for you. With Booking.com's wide variety of choices across the U.S., you can go incognito to all your baseball rival city. Maybe it's Los Angeles or Philadelphia, New York, or Baltimore, or Cleveland, or San Diego, or Milwaukee. No matter what team you are rooting for this postseason, Booking.com can make you a fan of any city around the country. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball rivals. Booking.com, Booking.yeah.
Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. Hey, NFL fans. You could start the season with a big return on FanDuel. You know that's America's #1 sports book, no question. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you could check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Folks, if you need a reason to watch the Cubs the rest of the way, yours truly on FanDuel took the over at 83.5 wins, which means this team needs to find a way to go 4-1 the rest of the way to get there. They're going to have to split in Philly and then sweep the Reds. The Cubs have not won a series this year against the Redlegs, and they're going to have to do that in order for me to cash my bet. It doesn't look good, and the effort tonight doesn't bode well, but I'm still happy I made the bet. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com, America's #1 sports book.
All right, 3 questions, Sam, for you today.
Oh, boy.
Number 1, Michael Busch has hit 21 home runs and 28 doubles this season. What 2 players in Cubs history have also posted a 20 homer and 25 double season in their rookie year?
I was about to say, if that is, it better be a rookie.
Right.
So you said 20 homers and 30 doubles?
25 doubles.
Chris Bryant.
That's correct. Chris Bryant, 2015. There's just one more.
Billy Williams.
No.
Giovanni Soto.
That's correct. Wow.
Go Cubs.
That's impressive. Number 2, Pete Crow-Armstrong. So rookie flavor here, first 2 questions. Pete Crow-Armstrong, PCA, is 27 stolen bases this season.
Oh, I don't know steals like that.
What was the last Cubs player to steal 30 bases in their rookie season? I have multiple choice.
Okay, great.
Corey Patterson,
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Sandberg, Chris Bryant, or Tony Campana?
Ah, boy. I don't think Chris Bryant.
There is momentum happening here.
25 stolen bases?
30 in their rookie
30.
year.
It's a bad take.
I don't know the answer. I'm just going to say Ryan Sandberg.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Nice job.
No, I didn't know that at all. So
Okay. So multiple choice did help.
yeah, I would have never got that right. And I
And
didn't.
finally, who has the most career homers for the Cubs against the Phillies?
So no Cubs Phillies trivia, huh?
Not well, besides this one, no.
I can't go with, Marlon Byrd or Jamie Moyer,
Antonio Alfonseca.
Okay, most Cubs homers against the Phillies. It's probably an older guy because that's when they played the Phillies more. 6,
Yeah.
I'm just going to is it Billy Williams?
He's second.
Ernie Banks.
Ernie Banks.
2 Billy Williams guesses, both wrong. Folks, why do I think that's an older guy? Because before the divisions, they would play the Phillies a lot more. Mike Schmidt had about 8,000 homers against the Cubs.
No, it was good thinking. So,
all right. Well, I'm glad I got Soto.
that was good.
I thought, you know what's funny?
Yeah.
I could be wrong on this, but I'm almost positive. Speaking of this show, you know who has the most home runs all time by a Cubs rookie, don't you?
Most home runs all time by a Cubs rookie?
I think. Someone will fact check me, but I think it's Patrick Wisdom.
Oh, my gosh.
I think it's Patrick Wisdom.
Oh, he got more than Chris Bryant?
I believe Chris Bryant, because remember, Bryant came up in May and it took him a while. I think Wisdom has more than Bryant. Yeah.
That's too bad.
In fact,
Let me look.
I would go as far as to say I'm 99% sure.
Okay. So Patrick Wisdom hit 28 homers in 2021.
Mm-hmm. And I think Bryant hit what, like 25, 26?
So what was that number? 28?
Yeah.
28 homers in 2021.
And I think Bryant hitting 15 hit like 25, 26.
And Bryant hit 26. All right, we got to go.
Yeah.
We got to get out of here. Thank you so much for checking out this edition of Locked On Cubs. You give us 20 to 30 minutes. We'll give you all things Cubs with a laugh or two along the way. Okay, this is a funny show. We're going to be in the off season the next half year, right? It's still going to be a great show, okay? Part of that's the entertainment value. Be sure to hit
Ryan Sandberg had 30 stolen bags as a rookie.
Subscribe on YouTube, smash the like button for the algorithm, and leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, everywhere you get your podcast. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.